premise of council holding. So when you talk about accountability, let's do it. I'm about that life because we fight for 4,200 members, 7 generations. I'm about it. So please, let's do it.
I hope that you do it, Teresa, because I want to say honestly, I don't think it's been done by any of us sitting here so far. Words are empty when you don't change your actions.
Truth, as you walk out. Tall.
But I don't know if there's any resolution to this because I'm not asking for my reason for putting on the agenda was not to ask for a change in the job description, but I don't know why within the purview of another tribal member, more tribal members, was denied a interview for a job position, and after reviewing the job description and the resume, I contacted HR and said, why was the interview denied? Because in my opinion, that person fit all of the qualifications in the job description. And I was told by HR that it was due to, there's a statement in here that they needed to have an ability to get a license, which everybody has the ability. It doesn't say it was required. And also said minimum of 10 years experience, which I know this individual had served previously in other positions where they oversaw the healthcare facility for, in my calculations, it was 8.5 years. It wasn't the full 10, but and I know that this individual right now is pursuing their doctorate in health administration. So my question is, why were they denied an interview?
A very hard one to discuss without naming names and going into really specific employee information. But just, kind of overall, the application came in with the resume. It was screened by the employment coordinator and sent on for approval for interviewing to the department manager or the manager the hiring manager, and that's the level that it was screened out. Because they didn't have the 10-year, they didn't meet the 10-year experience.
So as a tribal member, and they have what I would consider 8.5 years experience?
Yeah, this one is a hard one to swallow. I mean, I think it is pretty obvious that this person with the years of experience in previous positions in education, especially the education, is well qualified. It's not like there's licensing or certificates that are immediately necessary. I don't have the job description in front of me, but I am aware of this situation, and yeah, I definitely feel like the person met the qualifications and should have been interviewed.
And I'm not asking to change the job description because I believe that other than the 1.5 years that they don't have under the experience category, I just don't see why that would matter. Especially when you're a tribal member, you're pursuing your doctorate in that field. I mean, why do we do this to our own people? I don't understand. And we just hired somebody over on the EDC side with 0 experience that required a 10-year. I don't understand why. I'll leave it at that.
I just want to say I do agree, Jane, and I feel like this goes back to even conversations that we've had previously on the agenda today, talking about holding tribal members back, and I think that this is this is an ongoing problem, that it doesn't matter who's sitting in these seats, that when you leave things open to interpretation, you start getting people putting their own personal likes and dislikes of who they prefer to have sitting somewhere rather than being objective. Because when one person in one job, you can say, oh, this person, we should give them a shot. We have to believe in our tribal members. But yet we can turn around and not give a tribal member a shot and not believe in them when the case is stronger for the person that's told no to get a shot than what it is for somebody who was given the shot who really didn't have near as much to back them up to be successful in that position. I do understand, I know when I've asked this before, even under other administrations, I've been told that it's like, you need to look at the person and what they're putting in for, and you don't want to set them up for failure. You want to help them to prepare to do it. But I do also believe that there also becomes a time when I believe that that's not leveraged fairly across every tribal member, and I don't think that this is fair, and I see it happen on both sides. That goes back and forth, and when there's not a way to for somebody that gets put in this position to be able to come forward and like a due process or some sort of way for them to fight and argue and advocate for themselves to push it any farther, I believe that we are holding ourselves back and we are holding our people back, and we are allowing people's personal decisions and personal likes to influence and impact our future and our membership as a whole. And I don't think that this is fair. And I hope that we can find a way to rectify this so it doesn't continue to happen. Because you listen to one side say that we need to give people a shot, and then they turn around and don't give other people a shot. And it's not fair. It's just not fair. I mean, I've seen it all the way from positions where all you have to do is answer a phone and somebody's turned down because they don't qualify. I don't know what to do. I mean, there's days when I want to walk away from this job and just shake my head because I don't know that I don't know how to fix this. I don't know how to stop it from happening, but it happens again and again and again and again, and it needs to stop. And somebody has to be the bigger person to stand up and say, I'm not going to allow this to happen anymore. Whether I like that person or whether I don't like that person should not be an influence over whether they get a service, whether they get to interview for a position. It should be a cut and dry formula that's applied to everybody. And I seriously hope that we find a way to stop doing this because it is wrong. And the only people we are hurting is ourselves and our children and our grandchildren by doing this to each other. Thank you.
I just have one comment. I think to make it fair, like she said, is to repost it with the job changes. That way everybody out there, all tribal members are aware that we're going to take a less than minimum qualifications, or we're going to change them qualifications so they will apply.
I didn't see where it was less, though. What would be less?
You just said
The 8.5 years? You know,
It doesn't
in my opinion, when did it become so hard, you know what? I mean, we seem to be doing this, we're out here begging and pleading for people to come to work for us. And yet we have tribal members, well-qualified tribal members out there applying or not able to apply for jobs for some little, whatever, determination made by some department somewhere. And it's just ridiculous. How many open positions do we have right now? 40?
I did not know that information.
Quite a few.
We have quite a few.
It's like, come on. Give people a chance, for Pete's sake.
I like that statement, I do. And I want us to hit the point of giving everybody a chance, but opening the door equally. We are going to take less than what was posted. I do like your comparison of the EDC person that was so underqualified. And I
Didn't say
didn't ask where
underqualified, didn't meet any of the
where it was
qualifications.
underqualified, because when I looked at it, but again, I think all three of you used an I feel statement of how you feel. So as we feel up here, the fairness is to put it out there, we are willing, we'll throw down an asterisk on this job description, so whoever, including how many tribal members were skipped for this position because they had background, or they only did 2 years, or because they finished their bachelor's in health administration and didn't get the opportunity. But we want to specifically always shoot at the same arrow, and I would like it fair. I love that statement, and I love that in order to prove our point, we crush another tribal member. Like I said, if we're going to hit that level, we all have to hit that level.
Just can't be pick and choose.
I feel.
You know, you guys are generalizing, but ultimately, as Jane mentioned earlier in this meeting,
Oh, it can
that
get
there's
specific.
there's a minority and there's a majority that are voting in a locking arms, and ultimately you are responsible for the hiring of everyone that is in line to do your marching orders. So as the policies are, they reflect the majority. We've hired people with far less qualifications for the same position. And since May, we're running with an interim that is just added burden onto their previous position. So ultimately, if you're so concerned about the membership, then you would try to fill these areas of need so that the services can be obtained.
Well, can I just interject something?
Sure,
real
you
quick?
can.
I didn't have anything to do with approving or looking at the development or the decision that was made in regards to this, whether to interview or not interview. That job description was approved previously, or if it was approved, I'm not sure how the job description came about, but that job description has been there before our time. So there wasn't anything that what you guys keep terming as the majority rather than a team is at fault here, because I didn't have anything to do with the job description. I didn't have anything to do with whether this individual was hired or not hired.